Hi, welcome to Oma's Kitchen.
Oregano.
Let's use a Rugelach dough and make drunken cherry dumplings in Oma's Kitchen for New Year's. I have a little piece of equipment here. It's a dumpling maker. I got it online, but it's originally made in Germany. This actually speeds up the process of making the dumplings. It isn't required. You can cut them yourself and roll them yourself and pinch them shut. The dough is made from cream cheese and quite a bit of butter. I have some frozen cherries that I will use, but you could use fresh ones as well. I use almond extract, and I include a little bit of Amaretto, but that's optional. You'll want to soften the butter and cream cheese to make the Rugelach dough. I'm going to put the recipe here for you. Once I get them all into the bowl, I put it in the microwave for about 30 seconds at a time and make sure that I get it softened but not melted. Now that it's been softened, I can mix the butter and cream cheese together. You want to mix them until you can't tell the difference, and there's no big lumps of butter or cream cheese left. Rugelach originated in the Jewish communities of Poland, and traditionally it's cut into triangles and rolled up with filling into a crescent roll. It's a wonderful dough to work with. Once they're well mixed, it's time to add the sugar. I add 2/3 cup of cane sugar, heaping on the top. 1 teaspoon of salt, and 4 cups of all-purpose flour. This is a very thick dough. There is no other moisture in this dough besides the butter and cream cheese. It does take a little work to mix these together, and it comes out very much like a shortbread dough. I like to use a fork to mix it at first. It helps me get the bigger chunks mixed in with some of the flour and sugar. Once I get the big pieces mixed in, I switch to a spatula. You could mix it in your stand mixer, but be careful not to overmix it. Then your dough will become tough. You want to continue stirring until it looks like big wet crumbs. And when you squeeze it with your fingers, it comes together into a dough. Once that happens, I push it down into the bowl, and I cut it into 2 equal pieces to form into 2 dough rounds. This is why I like to mix it by hand. The dough pushes together into 2 very soft dough rounds, and it's not overmixed. Once you form it into 2 equal rounds of dough, you'll want to wrap each one in plastic wrap and let them rest in the refrigerator for a few minutes while we make the filling. Into the fridge they go. Then I like to clean up my mess and start on the filling. Okay, I have 2 1-pound bags of frozen dark sweet cherries. Now I have made this with fresh cherries as well. The result is very similar. I will say that the frozen cherries, you really need to drain them well. I drain them twice before using them, but I don't rinse them. That takes all of the juice off. Once they are drained, I cut each cherry in half. And it's a good thing I did. I found a couple of pits in them. You'll want to make sure you get all of those out. Plus, cutting them in half makes them small enough for the dumpling wrappers. I won't make you sit through all of my cherry cutting. So the second draining, and I will wash the other bowl. You see there's still juice coming out of them. By the time you're done filling all your dumplings, it will seem like there's too much juice again. To the cherries, we will add 3/4 cup of cane sugar, 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour, I like to add a tablespoon of amaretto. I think it really pumps up the cherry flavor. That is optional. If you don't want to use alcohol at all, just use almond extract. 1½ teaspoons of almond extract. And there's your filling for your dumplings. And stir it all together until all the flour's mixed in well. I'll put the recipe for the filling up here for you. Once the cherries are mixed together, I get out my dumpling former. This really does help. It makes them more uniform and it's easier to fill them. This is 4 inches around. You could just get a plate that's 4 inches around and cut around it. So you don't really need this equipment. It just helps me. You could also do 5-inch dumplings. You'll see even on my recipe it says they will break open. They're supposed to. I get 1 round of dough out, cut it in half, and it's very cold, so it takes a few minutes to work with it to get it down into a round that I can roll out. Work with it until you can get it to roll out to about 1/4 inch thick. It does take some effort here too. It's a really nice dough to work with, though. You just want it a little bit chilly. Then it's time to cut your circles for your dumplings, either by cutting around a plate or using a dumpling maker. Now I'm going to show you how I fill them. You're going to put a heaping teaspoon in the center. Put a little water along one edge. Yes, I know my hand's off the screen. Sorry. I'll show you on the next one. Fold it over. Pinch it shut. Once it comes out, I like to roll the edge over the top and pinch it. It does help them stay together a little better, but this Rugelach dough is very soft and they will open in the oven no matter how you do it. I stand them up on a cookie tray and push down until I have a triangle of a dumpling, and it stands up on its own. Here's the next one, a teaspoon of filling, a little bit of water along the edge, and then squeeze it shut. Once it comes out, roll the edge on itself and pinch it shut again. These are kind of fun to make. And then stand it up on your cookie tray. And here's a third one. Little water on the edge, squeeze it shut. Open it up. Roll the edge over, pinch it shut again, and then stand it up on your cookie sheet. Once I get a bunch done, I bake them at 375 for 16 to 19 minutes. It will depend on your oven. This recipe makes 4 batches or about 50 dumplings. Let me show you how to roll one by hand. I've got a circle cut out. I just put some of the filling in the center, wet the side, fold it over itself, squeeze it shut, and then roll across the top. This will close them just as well as my dumpling maker. It just takes a little longer to make them. Then just stand that up on your cookie sheet. And here's the first batch. You can see a little browning underneath, and there's usually some browning along the ridge on top. The combination of the Rugelach dough and the cherries in the center is just heaven. Almost every single one will burst open in the oven, and that's how they're supposed to be. They keep very well in an airtight plastic container for up to a week, if you can keep them around that long. Drunken cherry dumplings and a Happy New Year's 2023 from Oma's Kitchen. Thank you for joining me in Oma's Kitchen. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll upload more tasty videos soon, and a special shout out to Moon Pie and Lil Bit. Till next time.